We recorded actually already. We're done. So you're
good. Finally.
How many bags with zippers did you open and close?
We could hear the whole time.
2 bags.
Really?
Oh, you can hear that?
Oh, the whole time.
It sounded like you were opening zippers like left and right.
Yeah.
Like
I was double checking. Man, I'm glad I wasn't saying any shit.
You're like, these
stupid motherfuckers.
I'm spending my time for what? These dudes? Welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I am your host, Opie, and I'm joined, as always, by Kevin.
Howdy.
Alex.
That's me.
And our producer, Pete.
Well, hi.
Well, howdy ho. If you're new to the podcast, we are a pop culture centered podcast talking about television and movies. And every week we go through some picks or recaps of what we've been watching throughout the week. And this week, I believe we have a little bit of a new streaming service since HBO Max has just launched in I don't know, has it been a week now? Maybe less than a week or just about
like
a
weekish.
Right around a week.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. So haven't heard too much about it, at least in the news. That's been occupied by other goings-ons. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then after the break, we will be doing a recast of DCEU films. So interesting that we all, I think we all bring it. No, you don't, Alex, but would have, and Pete doesn't either, but so I guess just me and Kevin, but an overlap given the small amount of DCEU movies to choose from. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what me and Kevin go with. I found it harder than I thought. And it was, and I'll explain why I thought, why I found it difficult when we get there. But so to start things off, does anybody have anything they really, really want to talk about? Anything you've watched in the last 4 days since we last recorded?
Has it been 4 days? It feels like we recorded yesterday.
Yeah. So it's Saturday night. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, I like you kind of talked about. I spent a lot of time looking at HBO Max. Wound up only watching old shit though. My daughter's
That's all
in
you
love
ever
with.
watch though.
Weird.
My daughter's in love with the Scooby-Doo. Where are you?
Dude, it's over. Let go of the past.
Newer is always better.
When you accept that package of Jinko jeans at the door, just kill yourself.
They didn't have them my size.
I know. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
Oh.
Anyway,
sorry, we can't make the waist bigger than the length. We just don't make them like that.
Oh Jesus!
Sick burn, bro.
Hit below the belt. Keep it classy. All right, who wants to start? Oh, you're watching HBO Max.
He started.
That's right. I always forget when he starts.
Yeah. So I went back to watch the OC. Yeah.
You don't even go back to watch good shows.
Did you?
Oh,
did you say the OC were like serious words?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all, I sought it out. In fact, that was the tipping point that made me go, you know what? I'm getting HBO Max.
That was a fun show.
I never saw
I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I never watched an episode.
Neither did I, because I have balls.
Wasn't that what station was that on? Was that Fox?
I think it was Fox. No, the OC was Fox. I think because the OC was out around the same time as like Gossip Girls and Gilmore Girls, and so there was some crossover there with like what's on the CW and what's on Fox.
CW, yeah, I think it was Fox. Either way, it was shit. But go ahead.
You know what? No, the OC would have been on the CW or the WB at the time. Because think about it, it's a Warner Brothers property because it's showing up on HBO Max at launch. So anyway,
that's true because Disney owns Fox now, so it wouldn't be there. I would imagine.
Yeah. Introduced my daughters to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah, I saw that was on HBO Max. Is that all? Has it not been available anywhere else?
Nope. No. At one point, I think Netflix had like a couple of seasons.
Okay.
But this is like complete series.
Did it age
there's
okay?
a lot on here. Yeah. No, it's like
decisive.
Yeah.
It's still funny. No. It's still.
I'm getting HBO Max tonight just because now I'm excited.
Yeah, that was just
that show held up by that resounding.
Yeah, that was just the definition of enthusiasm right there.
No, it does. It's super dated. Like it's super dated. It's obvious.
It's super 90s.
No, exactly. It's like ridiculously 90s. Like I forgot how 90s it is.
That's one of the shows I remember I watched, but I don't recall if that was a show where I watched like every week, like it came out. I feel like I know 90210 was when that was out. That was every week. Got together with friends and watched it, but I don't remember if Fresh Prince was for me or not.
I skipped around, and in fact, I didn't watch most of Fresh Prince actually until the later seasons. So I remember when they had like kind of graduated high school, went on to college a little more than I remember, like when they were first in high school at whatever school it was. But the funny still holds up. Like it's still funny. It's still kind of relevant. But it is
good
like
writing.
Yeah, but it's straight. It's like super fucking 90s.
All right.
But I mean, there is just aside from the HBO stuff, there's a bunch on here. Like they've got some of the old Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. Is that like the whole collection?
No, it's a very limited amount right now. A lot of this stuff they're going to trickle out as they go. I mean, if you're an anime fan, I know, no, but like Crunchyroll is kind of like is an anime app that falls under this, and there's almost nothing in that.
Oh, Crunchyroll doesn't have much.
Yeah, it doesn't. Not as much as there's a free app that you can get called Retro Crush that has like fucking a million things on it. So I don't think they focused on Crunchyroll at all as a launch. I think that's another thing they're going to add stuff to. But Sesame Workshop, you got for little kids, they put like all
so Elmo
here.
has like a late night show.
Yeah, he's got a talk show.
It's kind of funny actually.
Well, I hope it's really funny.
I watched a little of it. I mean, for a fucking puppet talking to someone, but it's still like it's.
I mean, that was the whole Muppet Show back in the day. So
yeah,
that was the original puppeteer for Elmo, Kevin whatever.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah, I remember like seeing him in interviews, or Elmo in interviews like with Ricky Gervais and stuff, where it would kind of break character, and that was really funny. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all the Adult Swim stuff from Cartoon Network. But it's like did you ever watch Metalocalypse? I can't even say it.
You got
Metalocalypse.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Metalocalypse.
That show is incredible.
It is like it's one that I found myself being drawn to.
No,
I know what it is. I know of it. I just never watched it.
It's so fucking funny, dude.
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
You guys would both like it because you're both metalheads to a degree.
A little bit.
Yeah, I know Opie is.
He's definitely more than me.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny, dude.
Oh. That's how you know. Yes, it is.
That's right. It's universal language.
Yeah. Are you a metalhead? Am I?
Yeah, and you got all in Rick and Morty, Robot Chicken, Samurai Jack, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. If you never watched that,
Space Ghost is hilarious.
That show is so funny.
I still really quote shit from that show.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's got a lot of stuff on it. I think a lot of it was the time that it came out, and AT&T also just kind of bungled the rollout of this show.
Subscribe. This is what I'm confused about. If you subscribe to HBO Max, do you still just have all the regular HBO shit, or like is it its own thing?
Still get it. No, it is HBO plus all this other stuff. Like if you had if you were logging in,
but to the max.
No, it is. But you take like if you had HBO Go and that's what you were streaming through, take HBO Go and then add all this other shit on top of it.
Yeah,
this guy has HBO Go.
I think I have. Which one's the one that's standalone? Is that Now or Go?
Now.
Standalone is
I have Now.
Then you have Max.
You have Max. You just have to log into it.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
When as a matter of fact, on my Apple TV, it just updated itself. It was just like,
well, it updated itself on mine as well. But I remember on my PlayStation, it was the first one I clicked on because I noticed that icon changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, and I clicked it and it was like, log in to subscribe to HBO Max. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I just never went further. I thought I'd have to buy it.
We'll go log in.
I do have it through my Apple ID. Yeah.
You might have to sign in again with that then.
Yeah. See, what that thing is, I didn't know that it wasn't going to charge me, I guess is the thing I'm saying.
Well, hell, I have a feeling next week Alex is going to have a lot to talk about.
I'm going to talk about all of Metalocalypse. Talk about episode 1. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm considering getting that one. I'm looking at maybe changing my packages because right now I get HBO for free because of my, so it's like.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. You get HBO for free because you got the TV through Comcast, right?
Yeah.
Or like it's me. No, then you have access to HBO. Then you have access to HBO Max.
I didn't think that was the case.
I'm almost positive because you're an HBO subscriber.
All right, I'll try.
That's why because the one that is like completely going away is HBO Now, which was the HBO subscription only
that's what
thing.
Alex has.
But they changed it to Max, so you can't.
They changed it to Max. That's why it's just gone.
Yeah,
like it's not. There's no more HBO Now.
All right, I'll check. If that's
I
true,
will check
then
as
cool.
well.
You should be able to just log into it, Mike. I believe.
Well, if you believe,
that works for a cable company.
That's all I need.
That's what I'm saying. I know it. Like I know with like AT&T, that's how it worked.
You know,
like, if you subscribed it all, boom, you had it.
Cool. I haven't tried it all because I thought I'd have to pay. But I thought about doing at least a 7-day trial. All right. Well, who wants to talk about what they saw next? I have a couple things, but
I'll go real quick because mine's short.
All right.
I've been reading innuendo.
Short.
Anyways, I've been reading a lot about sci-fi shows and stuff, or movies and stuff, and there's one that's been going around that people have been talking about a lot that was doing well at a couple of festivals, and because of the the issues that we've had with the film industry and because of COVID and all that, it ultimately released on Amazon Prime.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not aware. And so it's called I think it's called The Vast of the Night, or The Vast of Night on Amazon Prime. And it's a sci-fi flick, and it takes place in the 50s.
It's a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's 91 minutes, which is a little telling.
Yeah, they have 1 extra minute.
Yeah,
so they just brushed past that like Sucktown time.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've been over the film 18 times. I gotta save that minute.
Gotta put it in there somewhere.
I can't find it anywhere.
It's just 1 minute of a tree that's frozen still.
Yeah. The last scene is just a very it's like a 20-minute drawback. There's a slow motion. I can't find it. My hands are tied.
Yeah. What was it called again?
The Vast of Night.
The Vast of Night. Okay.
Yeah. And it's I think it would have been a lot better if it was just an episode of like The Twilight Zone. I think if it was something that was a little
the same
shorter,
kind of thing.
Yeah, it could have been the same thing and done on The Twilight Zone and been just as good. There's nothing inappropriate about it. Like I don't even think it's rated PG.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because
it's PG-13.
Is it? I honestly don't remember a single bad word being said in it. But it had a feel of like Cloverfield meets Close Encounters. So there's a lot of stuff not happening on screen that was implied.
I never saw Close Encounters.
It's a good movie. It's definitely older and slower, but if you watch some of the remastered versions, it still looks pretty damn good.
The payoff at the end is worth it. To go back and watch it like a 70s movie with like it's slow. But when you get to the end, when you get to the end, you're like, oh shit. Okay.
And that's sort of that's sort of what this movie tried to do. Now this movie is set in the 50s. And that was really cool to see because everything about it really felt authentic. Like the outside lighting, all the lighting was really like dim compared to what we would see today. There was a handful of not everybody had a car. The main girl, she works at a switchboard. So the idea is that she, to establish the fact that it's in the 50s, it starts off at like this basketball game or something. And this girl's walking around with a cassette recorder because she's practicing doing interviews or some shit, and it really drags for like the first 20 minutes, which is why I said it should be like an episode of the Twilight Zone, because they're like establishing these characters and that it's happening in the 50s, but they establish the fuck out of it. Like it beats you into the ground that it's, not modern at all. And then it kind of starts to pick up where she works at, because this guy she knows is a DJ, and she works at a switchboard, and she's on a call, and this really weird sound comes over the switchboard. And then that's kind of when it kind of shifts to this Close Encounters feel, where they're chasing this thing down that they don't understand. And I don't want to give too much away, but it, like I said, it really just, the reason that I say it feels like Cloverfield is it does kind of follow them around, but you can't do it in the same way that you did Cloverfield, because nobody has video cameras and nobody has, so it doesn't have that.
Did you just stumble upon this?
No, I've written about it in a few places, and it got really rave reviews, and I honestly don't quite see why.
I watched the trailer for it, and it like the trailer makes it seem like it was going to be sort of a new spin on that movie Frequency with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. Like that's the way it
Frequency
felt.
is a much better movie. I'll tell you that right now.
That's quite the contrast.
Yeah.
Between what'd you say? Close Encounters and what?
And Frequency. Well, the reason is because
Cloverfield,
and then you came in with Frequency.
Well, because it
well, no, that's what, just watching the trailer. Like you watch the trailer, and when it shows you, you're just like, huh?
Like he's a DJ and she works on a switchboard, so you see a lot of people sitting there like just kind of listening to stuff. So that was in Frequency. They were talking to each other through time through like an old ham radio. Yeah. So I can see where you get that from. It's definitely not like that, or as good, to be honest. But it has its moments. The actors, there's nobody in it I've ever seen before, but for the most part, they do a good job, and they are definitely believable as characters in the 50s. So with respect to that, it was really good. It just wasn't very exciting. It had its moments, but it just wasn't very exciting. It could have been.
You always find the ones that you shouldn't watch.
I know, dude.
Classic.
I know, because I trust people online to know something about sci-fi, and then they're all idiots.
Dude, there's something going on. You're picking bad things to watch. You don't know how to play the golf game anymore.
No,
I don't know what's keeping you going.
Don't control yourself.
There's like nobody in this movie.
No, there's literally not. Everybody's new.
That was the draw for him.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest though. Like they weren't.
I mean, like even Sharknado pulled Ian Ziering. I mean, like there's
so there's nobody in Sharknado
at all, right? Exactly.
Don't forget Tara Reid.
I've forgotten Tara Reid as often as I can. But yeah, it's. I can see some of these actors going somewhere. Like they're not bad. It was an okay movie. Like if it was an episode of the Twilight Zone, if they cut it and shrunk it down and just stuck to the good parts, it would be a really good episode of the Twilight Zone. It just didn't make for a great movie.
All right,
like 9 out of 10, or
like at least maybe even 11.
What is it on the Transformers scale?
I don't even remember that scale anymore. It's so old. I would definitely say on a scale of Solo to 10, it's right about the middle.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That's telling.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go next because I saw something, I think probably about a week ago now, that I didn't talk about in the last episode, but that was Uncut Gems. Is ironic. We rented it on iTunes for 99 cents. And then before we even got to it, it came out on Netflix. So that's happened to me more than once.
Wasted a buck.
Well, nowadays, I kind of look at that 99-cent rental one and go, I'll give it a minute. Well, if I'm wrong, I'll pay the $2.99. But so anyway, Uncut Gems. Yeah, I don't think any of you guys have seen it.
No.
Anyone intend on seeing it?
Not really.
At some point, I think.
Spoil away. I'll probably wind up watching it, but go for it.
But before I saw it, all I had heard was, oh, it's a great movie. Adam Sandler, great job. Even Pete Davidson, I remember hearing, he said is the best movie he's ever seen, or best directed movie he's ever seen, something like that. Anyway, I watched it with the wife, and we didn't really comment at all during the movie, just kind of like watched it. And so at the end of it, I really had no idea if she liked it or didn't like it, and we're just kind of sitting there. I'm like, huh, well, what'd you think? She said something along the lines like she's never hated a movie more than this one, or something like that. Like she really, really disliked it. And I was like, oh wow, okay. Like,
can you elaborate on why without spoiling too much?
Well, yeah, I think she didn't like Adam Sandler's character because he was really just like an unlikable character. So in terms of wanting to try to, sympathize with him is hard to do for her. And then she just didn't like the story. She so those two things just kind of ruin it for you. So it's not really, you're out of the game by that point.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. Personally, I thought it was a interesting movie. And yeah, Adam Sandler just plays a complete fucking loser. One of those guys just cannot, make the right move, kind of thing. And well acted though. I thought the acting was. What I didn't like was the soundtrack, and that not so much like the music they were playing, but rather just the background, scene music. Really distracting. Really distracting. For at least for me.
What kind of music was it? Was it orchestral
I couldn't even fucking tell you. It just was really distracting. I feel like it was kind of jazzy kind of thing, but and that's fine, but it didn't match what was going on. And I usually, for the most part, a lot of movies, that's what helps me get through it. But yeah, I found that really distracting. Other than that, it's an interesting story, well acted for the most part. Nothing that I would really dislike. But I'd say it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But worth a look if you want to see something.
Yeah, before this, I think I probably would have gone into seeing it with pretty high expectations just on everything I heard.
Yeah.
So
I was looking forward to seeing it. Just and I was curious, but I didn't really purposefully didn't know anything about it. I just knew, people were talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing, we've been watching a lot of Killing Eve, so we're still working on that, and Schitt's Creek, still working on that. But then we did watch the first episode of Space Force on Netflix.
Oh,
yeah, I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, Steve Carell, John Malkovich. Who else is in that? Lisa Kudrow.
Isn't Ben Schwartz in it as well?
Yeah. So he's in that, and then a bunch of other character actors that you would recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah, first episode, laughed a couple times. It was, funny, just the whole situation of it, because they're kind of tongue-in-cheek playing on our current situation in terms of how the Space Force is created, and kind of like all the thought behind it, and so kind of poking fun at just the ridiculousness of it. So yeah, I mean, that's just first episode so far. So we'll be watching more, but so far that was pretty funny.
Do you think it's funnier than the Hugh Lowry space show?
Yes.
Which I already forgot.
So far, I'd have to say, yeah. We still haven't finished that first season.
You know what I miss? I stopped that too. I missed the last two episodes. I think it is.
It just didn't. It was like, I was really disappointed.
I liked it. I liked it a lot in the beginning, and it just ground to a halt and stayed one note and one
I was kind of the opposite.
The entire time.
It got better for me because I didn't think the first episode was that great. I wanted more from it.
Me too.
And then it got a little better, but then I still just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, nothing that we're like, okay, we gotta watch the next one. But
because I never finished it, and most of the time I don't remember that it exists. So that's kind of something.
Space Force is better in that aspect for sure.
Good.
There's a lot of fun people in this, like fun character actors in this too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun people.
Yeah. Bunch of good eggs.
Yeah, like I said, you'll recognize a lot of people, and it's funny. It's funny how the story goes, because it starts off just basically setting up the whole thing of the Space Force, and then it does a time jump, and then that's when the episode really begins.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny how they set it up, and then how much time goes by, and how much has changed. It's pretty good. So, and then you can already see certain gags that are kind of working and stuff, but yeah, I haven't heard a lot about this. And I'm also, again, once I start watching, I want to try to stay away from any opinions on it, because then but so far, look forward to seeing the next episode.
Cool.
Thumbs up for me. All right.
Aces.
The only other thing I would talk about will be kind of segue into our recasting segment. So, Alex, why don't you go and finish us off with our picks of the week, or picks of the last 4 days?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a ton. Well, I've had a lot of time, but I haven't used a lot of that time to watch new things.
Why? We're playing those damn video games?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of video games, I finished that stupid goddamn game.
Assassin's Creed?
Yes, finally.
It's over.
Yeah.
You're
Finally.
saved.
That's a hell of an arc over the last 4 episodes.
Right?
I know.
Everybody was waiting to hear that I finished, I'm sure.
And I like the way that you ended it too, like stupid fucking game or whatever.
James and Dawn just high-fived each other in the
in the truck going down the freeway.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we were able to, since our last episode, we finished Last Kingdom, everything that's available up till this point, which is 4 seasons.
All right. And it's supposed to continue on?
I believe so. They always end each season as kind of like, this could be it, but we could also do more, because, just to play it safe, or maybe they don't know if they're going to get signed back on. I don't really know what the politics of all of it. But once we finished it, it's a really, really good show. I will say season 4, which is the newest one, in my opinion, is maybe the weakest, but it's by no means bad. It's just the other 3 seasons were incredible, so it just fell a little short, but still a really good show, really good time. And now that we finished that, we're going to go back and finish Vikings, because we watched Vikings from a million years ago.
Yeah.
But we never finished it. We're on, I think, the newest season, and we just never got around to it. So we're going to go back and check that out. Kind of stay in that lane for a little while. The only other thing that we've really been watching, honestly, because, the world's been a little crazy these last few days, so we just need some feel-good TV. We've just been cruising through episodes of Fixer Upper, because it's on Hulu, and it's such a feel-good show. It's just a couple cool people building houses, essentially, or fixing them up to be all cool and fancy looking and stuff. So it's just like a really nice kind of escape show when you're surrounded by all this, dark energy. So yeah, a lot of Fixer Upper. Finished up Last Kingdom, and then started a new game, because yes, I do play a lot of video games. Something that I really had no interest in, and maybe technically still don't, but I started it because it's on sale right now. FYI, there's a big sale going on PlayStation Store right now. Ton of really great games for 50% or more off.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't looked into it, but I know they've been advertising it pretty.
Yeah, a lot of good shit in there, dude. A lot of good shit. So if there's ever anything you wanted to pick up, you go. I started playing Death Stranding. Is the game I started playing.
Oh, that's a weird one.
It's weird as fuck.
How the fuck have you always played? Jesus Christ! You could come up with any fucking game name, and one of you would be like, "Oh, dude!" How the fuck? Yeah, it's never something common like the latest Halos, like something I fucking heard of before. It's always something
this
obscure.
game. So this game was a big deal when it dropped.
Yeah.
Because,
but how do you have the time? Hold on, go ahead and keep talking. I have to take care of a bug issue. Keep talking.
No way to talk about your children. But yeah, no. Death Stranding is a weird fucking game, dude. Because like
I know.
at the core of it, you're basically a delivery guy in the apocalypse.
Yeah. And everything I saw about it, every trailer that came out for that game got exponentially weirder, and I cared less and less each fucking time. I was like, this does not look interesting at all. And the only reason I picked it up is because it's on a super good. It's the cheapest I've ever seen it, and I was like,
20?
Yeah, something like that, 20 something. And it still retails 60, so I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. And that was always my goal. I was like, I'm not really going to play it unless I find a really good deal for it. It was a good deal. And I was like, okay. And I've played it for maybe 2 or 3 hours. It's the weirdest shit ever.
It really is.
And it's, I feel weird about it because it's essentially kind of boring. And
Jesus Christ, why the fuck do you play it then?
Dude,
but that's the thing. That's the thing. I want to keep going, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's the weirdest shit. Like,
it's the same thing like what Kevin said 2 weeks ago. What show was it that you're like, the show is horrible, don't watch it? Manifest.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But see, so the thing about Death Stranding, you've got Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
What's
Guillermo
the
del Toro.
girl's? Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's acting in it.
Mads
Mikkelsen. Who's the girl?
A whole bunch of big actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a ton of people in it. It's beautiful.
It is probably one of the it's probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen, and that's the reason it keeps me going, to be honest, is because I'm just like walking around the world like, Jesus.
And it's
this
got
looks incredible.
That's how they get you.
It's got this funky soundtrack to it too that I kind of really dig.
Yeah, the soundtrack is really cool, and when it kicks in certain scenes, it works really well. That's the thing,
is how Trump gets his votes.
It is.
He brainwashes you through these
video games,
these games.
Through Death Stranding. No, it's the strangest thing.
Interesting.
Like, I never really planned on playing this game unless it was super cheap, and it was, so I finally bought it. And I'm playing it, and I feel kind of how I expect it to feel, which is I'm like a little bit underwhelmed, but I'm also I really want to see what happens, and I really want to like explore and see everything. It's like the strangest. I hate myself while I'm playing this game. I don't know what it is, but
dude, it's so hard you can't explain the game, because at its core, you're a dude delivering packages on foot to people in the apocalypse.
So that's
the book on paper.
Yeah,
like the game on paper.
Yeah.
It's like
how many times do you get to the house and no one's there? You're like, God damn it.
Well, the thing is, there's no houses, at least so far. It's just like there's a big city that you start in, and then so far I've just gone to a couple of smaller settlements.
You're just a mailman, just like determined to get
literally at this point in the game. I know it changes later because I have some friends who've played it, and you do more stuff later.
Are you Cliff Clavin? Is that who you are? You're fucking Cliff Clavin, determined to get all your shit delivered?
It's just like mechanically really interesting and frustrating simultaneously.
Plus there's weird shit in the world that they don't really explain to you.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out what the weird shit is as you're playing along, and it's just fucking weird. Yeah,
like the game itself is like, and this doesn't sound fun, and it kind of isn't, but like
sign me up. You stop it. You had me like 20 minutes ago.
You find packages
I'll
in the
just
world.
Download it.
Yeah, I get it.
Stop talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna keep going.
That way I can. I have too much to enjoy. I need something that I'm gonna be really bored but addicted to.
But that's the thing is I'm I don't know if bored is the right word.
Yeah,
I'm more just like what's happening. Like that's kind of like my whole mentality while I'm playing this game. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I not playing something cool or fun like God of War or Red Dead Redemption?
Why am I covered in blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also this weird mechanic where you find all kinds of things in the world that other people that have played the game have actually left behind.
Yeah.
Right. So There's like ladders and stuff in locations that will make it easier to get to.
And like ropes and other shit.
And if somebody played before you or played recently and left it there, you can just use it. So
it's a community kind of rebuilding communities kind of game. That the premise is that the world is basically gone, minus a few cities and settlements. There's some sort of supernatural shit involved where when people die, they combust and become this like volatile spirit that you can't really like see, but they can kind of like attack you. And again, I'm only a few hours into it, so I don't really know a lot of the details, and I didn't really do a lot of research beforehand. So going into this, I was like, "Oh, what?" Like I didn't know what the fuck was happening.
It's true, and they don't explain it very well in the game.
So I was thinking about it while I was playing it because I was gonna text some friends.
Jesus Christ!
I was gonna text some friends who've played it already, and I was gonna be like, I feel like I'm watching the third movie in a trilogy, and I haven't seen the first two. Like, because there's so much going on, and they just kind of like are like, like that. You're in for the long haul, and I'm like, okay. And I know it'll answer some questions, but it's by Hideo Kojima, so some of the answers will be weird.
Why did you leave with that?
Well, no, because it was his first game after splitting with Konami.
After Metal Gear Solid, it's like his first non-Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
Oh.
It'll get trippy too when Troy Baker shows up. His character
he showed up, but he hasn't talked to. I know which character he plays. You see him a couple times here and there in some cutscenes, but
the more him and Mads Mikkelsen show up, the weirder it gets, but the better it starts to feel. No, but like you start to feel like you kind of understand the world.
I'm going to explain this to Opie really quickly, just so I can. This is the reason you need to play this game.
Okay.
When you're out in the world. When you're out in the world, one of your weapons, I guess you would call it, it's on your ability wheel, is you can just take a piss whenever you want.
And it serves a purpose. It does something.
It does something. I don't know what it is.
I forget what it is.
Am I claiming that area as my own?
You're like, this is mine now.
This is not mine.
Dude, but like the game is stunning. Like it really is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. And they built it in the Horizon Zero Dawn engine.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, Guerrilla Games gave them the engine, which is why they were able to do it so quickly. Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
And
now it's clear.
No, it's not. Shut up! You haven't even played The Last of Us. You go to your room.
But here's the thing, and I'm basically just talking to Kevin at this point. What I'm excited for is
basically been talking to Kevin this entire time.
That's fair. Well, then be quiet.
I've been reading the Wikipedia page of the game.
Yeah. So that I can... Don't tell me anything. I'm only a couple words on. What I'm more excited about than anything else, because this game is weird as fuck, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm not far enough into it. But the mechanics they introduce in this game in the Decima engine, which is the Horizon engine, make me super excited for Horizon 2. Because like her exploring, like imagine her using her grappling hook to climb wherever she wants, or all this other kind of shit that they're doing. Like that's what really gets me excited for sure. And Opie left.
Yeah, you drove him away. You drove him away.
That was the goal. I did it, guys.
No, sorry. There was a cat trying to get in this garage that doesn't belong here.
Oh.
I had to go shoo it away.
Shoo, you little motherfucker. So
it was like blood all over my face.
Yeah.
It was a hard fought battle.
I went shoo kitty.
So anyways, that's the new game I've been playing. And I also did go back and started a new game in God of War, because that game's just
of course.
Game's badass.
What are you supposed to fill your time with?
Hey, you know what?
I also started a new game today. Actually, I totally forgot. I started a game. It's called Stranded Deep. And when I say I started it, I barely played it. I was terrible at it, and I may never play it again.
That one looks interesting.
It's a gay porn version of Gilligan's Island.
It basically is like
sort of, but like even less than that.
Sounds
it's like Castaway the game.
It is like your plane crashes and you're on an island, and then it's just all about survival. But like, it just doesn't feel like that great of a game. So I was like,
it's a little.
I was like, cool, I'm done.
Yeah,
I
died
only like
after $20.
1 day. Yeah.
But the concept looks interesting.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting concept if they did it right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool, and there are some cool mechanics kind of under the hood, but
I think it's a very specific genre too. This survival game thing,
yeah,
where you have to deal with resources. There's no story.
You have to like drink water, eat food, sleep, or your character dies. It's not like a regular video game where it's just like my health is full until I get hit. It's like if you start not eating or not drinking,
if you take too long doing stuff, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So, but that's not really. I play games for story, sometimes for the actual game mechanics, things like that, but usually for story and for graphics will get me. This doesn't have great graphics.
No.
And it doesn't have a story, so I'm kind of like, I'll try it maybe one
Checked
more time.
Out.
But like when I died after one day, I just laughed. I was like, I'm bad at this. Like I don't think I'm going to try hard enough to get better.
Yeah.
You're like, that's probably the best move. That's probably the best I could have done for myself right there.
Yep.
Just give up.
All I know now is I don't want to be stranded on a desert island.
For sure.
I'm fucked. It proved that to me.
Well, now you have a personal best to beat.
That's right.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, you'll be there on your second day. You're like, fuck you, Stranded Deep. Fuck you.
That'll be that.
I'm writing them a letter.
The victory scene of you, and then the helicopter going circle around with you with your arms.
Just
I made it a day.
The Breakfast Club scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll stop talking about obscure video games that give Opie aneurysms now. Go ahead and do your transition-y thing you were going to do.
It's just amazing. I remember playing video games and it was a lot simpler. And now it's like, all these games that you guys mentioned, you gotta be kidding me. Like there's this many games on the market. I've never even heard of a
surprised how many games come out every week. It's no joke, hundreds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's because you have to think about how many platforms there are. There's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC. There's all these different, on PC, there's like 5 different services that launch games. There's all these little studios trying to make it big. It's like ridiculous. Like if you go to new games, you're like, what is half of this? Like even for me, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I stay up on this shit. So it's a little overwhelming.
I'm like, I got off the train a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm just strolling down the track and picking up games that were left behind. I'm like, oh shit, I'll try this one.
Yeah.
It's new to me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. If you can get games for cheaper, why not? I mean, that's basically what Alex just did, right? I mean,
that's why I bought Death Stranding, because it looked
got a crazy expensive game for dirt cheap.
Yeah. And I don't know. I know I'm going to play it after we're done, but I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see what you think later on. And we don't.
Did you beat it?
Again. Yeah, I finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Red Dead 2 was the only game that I paid full price for in probably almost ever.
It's worth it.
Well, that one was, I knew, because that's the whole reason I even got a PS4 at the time.
Yeah.
I think sometime this weekend I am gonna build out my online character.
Do it, man. We need to get each other's gamer tags, by the way.
Yeah,
so that
yeah, for sure.
Can roll as a posse together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to figure that out.
He won't.
No. I will.
Won't even play the
Did you see that? Did you see the U that I found in online?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I literally was just riding my horse, and he just rode up next to me, and I just looked over and I was like, "What in the fuck? That guy looks just like Opie. Like just like the long ass beard."
That was hilarious.
So funny.
He had like a little hat on, and I was just like,
yeah.
And he hung out with me. Like he was escorting some drunk guy back to town. So he was just, and then I just started walking with him, and we're just escorting him together. And then the guy fell. So then he blew him up with dynamite, and then he gave me the corpse. Yeah, this is Red Dead Online. It's amazing. He gave me the corpse, and then I threw it in the lake outside of Blackwater, and then we just started fishing together. Like that was what we did.
But you guys can't talk to each other, right?
No, it was nonverbal. I mean, I could get my mic on and I could say something, but I'm not going to.
That was like the Wild Westest fucking thing I have ever heard.
It really was.
But how did you know that he was giving you the corpse?
Because he picked it up and he dropped it at my feet.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh. And so I picked it up, and we were close to Blackwater. So I walked to the lake behind Blackwater and just threw it in. And then he did an emote, like a laughing emote, like, and then I just threw my fishing rod in, and then he threw his, and we were just sitting there just fucking chilling together fishing. It was literally just like, what is this game? Like
an emote. How do you do an emote?
Just like in single player where you lock onto someone and then it says like greet or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
But you can choose what each of those wheels are. So it's not like just hello or be a dick. You could like dance, or you can clap, or fucking smoke a cigarette or something. Like there's all these different emotes. It's super fun. So yeah, that was my adventure with you before you were even online.
That's funny.
Sam was sitting there. I was like, "Look, it's fucking Opie," and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was like
that is
so much like
hilarious.
You did. Good times.
All right. Well, getting close to break, so and then after break, we're going to be recasting some DCEU movies, and so in preparation for that, I was tasked with Batman versus Superman, which I had seen a long time ago, and so in refreshing my memory, I thought I would watch it again, and I didn't realize how much I didn't like this movie, but then talking to you guys before the show, I mentioned that I watched the theatrical release version because it was shorter, and everyone seems to say it was a bad idea. And I do remember seeing it before, and I remember seeing because I bought it, and so I watched it, and it was the
Extended.
longer one. Yeah. And I remember watching it and thinking that it's not great, but it's not horrible. Whereas this time I was really upset with certain characters and like really didn't like it for the most part. But I got what I needed to recast. But
it is actually genuinely worse. Like they cut out a lot of character exposition and just like plot explanation.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, why did you cut that out? Like that's huge. Like
maybe we should get the Zack Snyder cut of Batman versus Superman also. We can have like a 12-hour marathon.
I think that's what the extended edition is, essentially.
Of Justice League?
No, of Batman vs Superman. That's the Snyder cut.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
so that's what we can expect from Justice League? We can expect it to be that good?
Yeah.
It's better.
It is.
So, I don't know. I for the most part, I mean, the story was kind of stupid. I was really upset with the story, but I was really, really, really upset with their depiction of Luthor.
Yeah.
Like I like Jesse Eisenberg for what he does. I think he has definitely a niche that I really enjoy. But in this, I'm like, is he supposed to be Luthor, or is he supposed to be the Joker, played by the Riddler? Because that's the way this fucking character looks.
Well, see,
like,
if they had made him Alexander Luthor from the comics, which is a different character, it would have actually made more sense.
Well, that's what he said. He was Alexander Luthor. There's like an invitation to a party, and it said Alexander.
Well, no,
Luthor.
but in the comics, Alexander Luthor still has his hair, and is he a clone of Lex Luthor? That was kind of like his son.
Well, this guy had his hair.
Did he?
He had long hair. Yeah,
he had long
hair.
Long.
Oh, okay.
They shaved it at the end when he.
Oh, that's right. When he's in jail.
Yeah. Which they do.
Yeah. Obviously.
Got to make sure
long hair. You don't want to get
in there.
It was just.
Well, let's talk about your hatred for him when you recast him after the break.
Yeah, okay,
I want some water.
That's okay. All right. So I guess we'll be back, and is it me? Do I have to do? Well, yeah, I guess.
You might as well go first, right? Since you're already there.
No. Who's going to be doing the announcements during the break? Is it me? Because Kevin didn't do it last week.
Oh, I did though. Just because Pete didn't do his job didn't mean I didn't do mine. I'm on the video.
I mean, I don't know if you did your job as much as you said some words.
Trust me, I had to edit it. So
in a non-sequential, horrible
I did the job in a double way.
I guess.
Oh no!
I had to edit it together to make it make sense. And it's terrible. It's perfect. It's exactly
what you posted.
It'll be up soon.
Oh god, I can only imagine because I tried to do the audio edit, and after the first 10 minutes of listening, I was like, "Fuck this! I'll do it when I have like a 4-hour block of time next."
You're welcome. You wanted my my version of it. You got it. Go to town, Zack Snyder. Go to town.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, see you after break, I guess.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is the All Pop No Culture podcast that you've been listening to. I don't know what's so funny, Peter. This is super serious. Can you calm down, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here to tell you, against my will, about other ways that you can talk to us besides not talking to us, because this podcast only allows us to communicate one way. So if you want to communicate the other way, we have a phone number. It's 925-400-8447. So go ahead and call us on that. Can they call on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And leave a voicemail.
And that, yeah, because we're not going to answer for sure.
Yeah, but we'll use it on air.
Yeah, for sure. We also have a Gmail account because we're basic as fuck. It's allpopnoculturepod@gmail.com. We also have a website, which is allpopnoculture.com. And we have other things like a Facebook page and an Instagram account and
Twitter.
And a Twitter. And that's it.
YouTube.
And YouTube. Yeah, well, if they're watching this, they have YouTube already, so they know that one. Right?
I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Shh.
That's a good point.
I'm doing this my way, okay? I thought you said you were not going to talk.
I tried.
You're distracting me.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
And if you are watching this, I'm so fucking sorry.
And I guess we're back. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed whatever happened during the break, which at this point we have no idea. But during the last few days, we were talking about what we want to talk about on this week's episode. We decided to help the DCEU out by showing them where they went wrong in their casting. Now, the DCEU, as we've stated many times, is doesn't have as much to offer as the MCU. So for me, I found this a little harder to do than I anticipated. We all got different movies. Only me and Kevin's kind of overlap in terms of the characters. But I don't want to go first on this. But since me and Kevin kind of overlap, why don't we go 3 and 4?
That makes sense.
And then
That'll work.
So Alex or Pete, who wants to go first? Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get mine out of the way real fast.
Exactly.
Okay, did you just finish it during break?
Right before we started recording, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny how your headphones suddenly work all of a sudden.
I know, right? So I was forcibly selected to do Shazam. And
that's a tough one. That's arguably a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tough one because I just don't care. If I'm being totally honest, Shazam was a movie that I was like, I feel almost nothing about it. Like Aquaman, I feel something. I feel hate. I feel hatred towards it.
You could have done Man of Steel. Man of Steel was
or Aquaman.
No.
Or Aquaman,
I thought about Aquaman, but really, everyone in that is in Justice League.
Wonder Woman too.
Players.
You could have done Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I chose this for a very specific reason that I'll get to in the sort of upcoming cast. But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. Because it really was like, so forgettable.
Did you just rewatch it recently to
No.
remember? Oh, okay.
Nope. I watched it once and probably never again.
Forgettable though, because it was better than Aquaman.
Which is,
but like
not
I said, forgettable.
No, Aquaman, like I said, Aquaman's horrible. It's definitely way worse than Shazam. There's no argument there. Yeah. But it made me feel an emotion, which was hatred and anger. And just unrequited rage. But I still was like, ooh.
Are you still talking about that fucking game?
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about anything anymore. That game has actually confused my brain circuits. So I thought, let's have a little fun. And Shazam was definitely DC's attempt at making a Marvel movie, I think. Yeah. They started going into the more humorous side of things, which, to be fair, Shazam
should be. It's a little campier.
It's a little campier. It's a little funnier. It depends on which version. There are versions of Shazam or Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call him, where he's a lot more serious. And I think that's actually kind of the angle. Looking at the cast that I picked, that's actually the angle that I was going for. I was kind of taking some of the humor out of it and going back into like a little bit of a darker realm, because that movie doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah, that's what I say. I remember when we talked about the movie when it came out, that was the biggest note, was that it didn't know what kind of movie it was trying to be.
Yeah, like half the time they're cracking jokes, and the other half the time there's demons decapitating people and throwing them out windows. And I was like,
holy shit.
Yeah. And that actually, that part of the movie is the most interesting part to me, honestly, because they tried to do Marvel and they didn't do it as well. So I was like, lean the other way, man. Like, go the other direction.
Yeah.
So my movie arguably is cast in a way that is a little bit more maybe serious and dark. I don't have a director. I didn't go that far, if I'm being honest. I just recast people. And because of our conversation earlier, I realized that this person actually already is in the DCEU, but he's so forgettable, and that's why I put him in this role.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Ben Affleck.
Darn it. No. So I would have recast Shazam, so the adult version, with Joe Manganiello, or whatever the hell his name is.
Okay.
Just because he's got the look, like if he shaved off his beard, like he's huge. He's like buff,
he
has a look where, because in my universe, like I didn't have to recast Superman, so it's still Henry. Like if Henry and him stood face to face, I'd be like, yeah, that's a fight, because Shazam is arguably as strong, if not stronger, than Superman. Whereas I couldn't see that with Zachary Levi.
I don't think I've seen him act in anything other than Spider-Man, so I don't know how
he was in. I shouldn't even say this because I'll probably get castrated.
He was in both Magic Mike movies.
I didn't. That's not what I was going to say.
He was in True Blood.
He was in True Blood. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he
was good in True Blood.
He was he's a werewolf and he's cool. Like so, I thought he was dope. And then I thought I saw him in something else, but I can't remember. Either way, I think he could pull off that kind of Superman-esque look because they look very similar in the comics. Like they were drawn very similarly. And I think he and Henry next to each other would be like, yeah, okay. So that's my
I think he's actually taller too.
He might be. He's not wider. No one's wider than Henry.
Those fucking dreamy ass shoulders.
That was one thing watching that movie when he's in the kitchen with no shirt and he's like watching the news. I seriously was almost like, dude, get out of the fucking way! I can't see what's on the
TV. Yeah, they had to do that shot very strategically, like lift the camera up over his shoulder.
Bring out the wide cam.
Yeah,
we need to get this whole room if we're gonna get anything other than just back hair.
So if anyone remembers this movie at all, the villain was Dr. Savannah. He was the rejected chosen one, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
And he was played by Mark Strong, who Mark Strong's great. I actually really enjoy Mark Strong, and I thought he did fine in this movie for what he did. But again, since I'm going a little bit darker, I actually recast him with Gary Oldman.
Okay.
Yeah, just because
Gary Oldman can do it because he can do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like the best in the world, but he excels at vengeful villains, I've noticed.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of my reasoning. The only thing that would be a downside to Gary Oldman is he is a little bit older, and the physical parts of the role might be a little tough. But that's what CG is for. So,
yeah, but also, a lot of people also know him as from Batman.
As Gordon, right? Yeah, I know. And he'd have to have quite a different look. I'm kind of like, for his part, I'm kind of thinking of channeling more of like his Air Force One role mixed with like not too much of it, but like his Fifth Element role, kind of like the unhinged.
A little bit of the detective from The Professional.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's got so many good villain roles, and some of them are like over the top, and some are really subtle. He has amazing range, so that's my choice for Dr. Sivana. So for Billy Batson, who is Shazam when he's not Shazam.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, see, I had to recast kids, which made me want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Because so I think I have a decent lineup. So Billy Batson is Noah Jupe, who is that's exactly what I would say if I didn't know who he was already. He's the boy from A Quiet Place.
Okay.
So that not the deaf sister, but the brother.
Oh, okay. I'd have to look at that again, but okay.
Yeah, but he was really good in that, and again, since this movie wouldn't be quite as silly, he's a little bit more serious.
I was gonna say he really showed his comedy chops in that one.
Yeah, right.
Hilarious.
But he's a good actor. He's got good range. I think he's going places. And honestly, that person, when you really think about it, the young Billy Batson isn't in the movie that much because he's Shazam most of the time. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You could cast a potato. It doesn't fucking matter. So, and you guys won't know who this person is either. But for Freddie Freeman, who is the disabled foster brother, I chose Archie Yates, who is from Jojo Rabbit. He's like the slightly chubbier boy with the glasses. And since he does act as comic relief, and he would to a degree, even in my darker version of this movie, he's fucking hilarious. Like, he's probably the funniest person in Jojo Rabbit, which if you know who's in that movie, it's saying something. Yeah. He's literally like the funniest kid actor I've ever seen. And from what I hear, he is actually, I don't know if this is true, but he's actually going to be in the rebooted Home Alone, which is amazing because he's so fucking funny. So yeah, when you see Jojo Rabbit, you'll know what I mean, but he's amazing. And then the wizard version of Shazam, so the one who passes on the powers, who is played by I can't say his name, but you all know who he is. Dimojon something or other.
Jumanji Houston.
Yeah, sure.
Would you know him from what?
Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the guy who chased them around.
Yeah.
And he's been in a couple. He's always like a side character kind of a guy. But
random note for him, he's actually in the pilot episode of Beverly Hills 90210, just with his first name as the credit.
That's rude for him, but okay.
Yeah, his last name's easier to say anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Pete, always on the pulse of pop culture.
Yeah.
For my wizard Shazam, I would just fucking pull Morgan Freeman out and to do it. Because Morgan Freeman's dope.
Yeah,
and
can't go wrong with Morgan.
Yeah. And also, like I said, I did this in 10 minutes. So
that's true. Really gave it a lot of thought.
Yeah, I really did. Although I do have a bonus. So for Shazam 2 / Black Adam, I would recast The Rock with Terry Crews.
So Black Adam.
An actual Black Adam. Yeah. Well, The Rock's half black.
Yeah.
No, he's half Samoan.
He's half black.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's his nationality.
Oh, that's right. His dad, yeah, Rocky.
What do you think the other half was?
I don't know.
Samoan?
Yeah, he's half Samoan, half Samoan.
And half Samoan. Yeah. So, but yeah, I just thought since we're on the subject and it would be fun.
I love Terry Crews too. That's fucking awesome.
Again, just seeing someone who's like physically imposing, and he's obviously known for comedy as well, but he can get pretty serious, and he looks intimidating as fuck. So
yeah, when he looks mad, that dude, I would not fuck with that guy.
Exactly. And then here's the reason why I chose Shazam. You ready?
Okay.
I would recast whoever the fuck that bitch ass body double was at the end of the movie with Henry Cavill.
Oh, okay. You would actually bring in Henry Cavill?
Yep. Because he
Good
is
to do it.
Superman. Fight me.
Fight me.
And that's the only reason I chose this movie. There you go.
and me and Kevin had the luxury of having to recast him.
You realize I'm gonna just kick and scream when you guys start naming off people. I'd be like, nope, wrong.
I'm gonna do a switcheroo and give the old red cape to Mr. Affleck.
I chose Morgan Freeman as Superman.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Well, that's my second on both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's if their schedules are busy, then
Now this next one's probably going to take about an hour and a half because Pete got Suicide Squad.
There you go.
What happened?
So another one. Well, I saw Shazam, but I haven't seen Suicide Squad.
I would say don't.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So as far as my reference goes,
I would say if it's free.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Like if you see it on a streaming service, it's like it's not Aquaman bad. It's like it's still watchable.
I just remember the preview. It's stuck in my head.
The problem with casting this one for me was that most of the problems, well, all the problem with the movie isn't so much in the cast as it is just in the script of the movie and what they do with it. So I just kind of said, well, fuck it. If I was just going to completely rebuild this film from the ground up, let's just do it completely differently and everything. So I said, fuck it.
So is this your vision then? Is this what we're about to hear? Your vision for Suicide Squad?
God, I hope so.
Buckle up, guys.
It sounds like he's all, fuck it. We got
Tap in, fellas.
Redo the foundation and bring it back up. And I have just the crew for it. I have just the blueprints right here.
Starting with the director of photography.
Okay.
Actually, with the first AD.
Yeah, right.
I got the key grips already cast.
Here's the boom mic guy.
On the second unit.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll start with the second unit boom.
I've never seen Suicide Squad, but I gotta imagine it's gonna be better what I'm about to hear. Go ahead.
Did you see Birds of Prey?
No.
You did not. Okay.
No.
I think I'm the only one.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna watch it just because it
maybe somewhere when it's free because I like to look
exactly.
at Robbie. But that's
and that was one of the hard parts about this because that's one of the.
I would need Margot Robbie to come over and personally ask me to watch it. Probably, I think that's what it would take.
All right, so I start off with Deadshot, the Will Smith character, and I recast that as Idris Elba.
Okay, he's a little older, isn't he?
Yeah, but Deadshot's age isn't really a factor with this character. Like it almost doesn't matter, and some of my casting is actually is older than what was there.
He's already called himself Black Superman.
He's like Harley Quinn is Dame Judi Dench.
Which
I mean, come on.
That'd be hilarious.
No, if we're going that way, it'd be what's her back? Helen Mirren.
What about Maggie Smith?
Yeah, I was gonna say Maggie Smith.
Oddly enough, we named Brits because I actually said with that would be Kate Beckinsale.
For Harley?
Yeah.
Huh.
Still fun to look at, and she's actually really funny. If you watch her,
she's hilarious.
I think she could.
Who?
Kate Beckinsale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Kate Beckinsale is that she's older, but she looks like she's 20 still.
She's got another 8 or 9 Underworld movies left in her.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think she's actually a fucking vampire because she never ages.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. That explains it. All right.
Okay. And then we had Diablo, the Jay Hernandez character, the Latino gangster human firebomb.
Danny Trejo, right?
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
not even Antonio Banderas. Goes straight to Danny.
So is your movie
good old
directed by
days.
Robert Rodriguez?
Oh no,
or-
it's directed by
Right.
Kevin Smith. I said,
Oh, that's actually a really good choice.
Just give it to Kevin.
That's a really good choice.
He'll be coming in on a fucking electric wheelchair.
But
why don't you just cast Danny Glover?
They'll have to do the Captain America 1 thing where it's just someone else's body and his face on it, and he's just
Right.
walking around.
Oh my god! Keep going, please.
All right, and then you had Captain Boomerang.
And
And
that
for
was
this-
Jai Courtney, right?
Exactly. That one is where I stuck Jack Black.
Oh,
Jack Black.
we were
Yeah,
joking
because-
about that having to be like
Jack-
a rule, by the way. Like,
I
you don't have to
know
put
we were
him in.
joking about it, but I just like it got in my head. I was like, is there a place in this movie I could stick Jack Black that it would work?
There
And
isn't.
that's the only place.
No, there isn't one.
I've never seen this movie, but is that character like heavy set?
Ish, yeah.
No, he is not.
No, he's not.
It's Jai
Well-
Courtney. That guy's built like a fucking
Who's
tank.
Jack Courtney?
You,
Where
you
else
can't
would I
tell
know
though.
him
With
from?
his costume, you can't tell that though.
You can tell he's not Jack Black shaped.
Well,
I was
yeah.
gonna say.
When they were casting, they were going, you know what? We're looking for Jack Black.
Jai Courtney,
Physique, yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's not super well known or amazing or anything, but he's built, dude. He's fucking ripped. Like,
Were you gonna step in as the understudy? Tell me you wanted to be the understudy. That's where you're casting him.
He's opening the door for himself. In the, in
Yeah,
the
that's what he's
DCEU.
doing.
selfish ambitions. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Jack
Is there a place
Black.
I can stick Jack Black?
So since you guys haven't seen the movie, what I can say is that Captain Boomerang is a little bit weird and kind of goofy, and he does have a personality that I think Jack Black's a little much, if I'm being honest, because Captain Boomerang's like a little bit more subtly goofy, where Jack Black's just like in your face goofy.
Well, if you're looking for older, why don't you just put Jim Carrey in it?
Well, that's not a terrible idea, actually.
Yeah.
Seeing him with the mustache and Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm like, he could pull it off.
Oh my god. What's your next gold nugget of
I
casting?
can see it. I just think that it's hard to imagine that guy being a supervillain.
Yeah.
Because like he'd get caught in 2 seconds. He'd start running and be like, like he'd just be out of breath.
He's
So
just Nacho Libre that shit.
yeah, man.
Right.
All right, what's next?
All right. So then we had this. This is the one that gave me the most trouble because he's barely got any lines and he does almost
Wait,
nothing.
you
in the
haven't done
movie.
Harley Quinn yet, have you?
Yeah, Kate
that was
Beckinsale.
Kate
Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, okay, I missed that. All right. Okay.
Which I think that could work.
When you're going older, sure.
So for Slipknot,
Why?
I just said fuck it. We'll make a movie star out of Post Malone and we'll just cast him as Slipknot because there was no other person I could think to put in there that wouldn't make any more sense than Post Malone being in the part. It's like 8 lines in the whole fucking movie.
Barely. So just spoilers for you guys since you haven't seen it, and it doesn't really matter at this point because you probably don't care. He pops out of a car after everyone else is introduced, just randomly, like, "Oops, we forgot one." And then when they get to the mission, he dies like a minute in.
Yeah, there's nothing
Hell of
to it.
dumb too. Like he barely exists. Like there's not even a point to his character.
That was their Joss Whedon move. They're
You
like,
literally
"We'll
are
kill
like-
anybody."
He's a
Basically,
fucking red shirt from Star Trek, dude. Like there's no point to him at all.
That's funny.
He does
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, wow.
Was it? Do you think it was their attempt at humor?
It was an attempt.
Really? You think that's? I mean, in terms of the joke, or was it something they just bad editing?
I mean, the way that he died was not funny. It was kind of brutal, but I could see how someone would see that as like dark humor. Like in the scene where, like in Always Sunny, where they do the colonial episode at the end when like Cricket gets his head exploded off.
Yeah.
When they're trying to fix the gun.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to that, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to do like a whole X-Force dying from Deadpool 2 with his
But
death.
they only did it with one
person.
person.
But they did it with
But
one
it was
person.
hilarious when
and
they did it in fucking Deadpool too.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
funny.
So
All
fucking
right.
well. And then we have Katana, who again she's sort of barely in it, and
Lucy Liu.
No, oddly enough, I went with
okay.
I went with Kelly Marie Tran, who's
Oh,
Rose
I know.
from
I know who she
Star
is.
Wars.
Okay.
You know, just because
Is this one also-
it's the lower half of a mask that you see.
Yeah.
Like it almost doesn't matter. It's
But again, she's kind of fit and does some cool stuff. I don't really. Okay.
I haven't seen her do the action thing, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Who?
Okay. What about the chick that was who was in
I'm getting there. Amanda Waller, Viola Davis.
Oh no, the chick who was in Once and played Mulan.
Oh, Jamie
Chung.
Jamie Chung.
Isn't that Jamie Chung? I thought about that. I went
she's
back
not
and forth
old
with her
enough?
a little bit. No, they're about the no. Kelly Marie Tran's actually a little younger.
50 and up.
If they don't have their AARP card, then I don't fucking want them.
They don't even have to be the Suicide Squad. They're almost dead anyways.
Jamie Chung might have worked actually really nicely.
See that?
All right. I haven't even seen the fucking movie, so I'm just trying to save it. Because right now I'm not buying a ticket.
Killer Croc.
Who was Adewale Akinye Abaje.
Mr. Echo from Lost.
Yes, Mr. Echo from Lost.
Adebisi
Mel
from
Gibson.
Oz.
Yeah, he was.
No, with that, I went with Denzel
Washington.
Oh. Who?
Christopher Hivju, who was the big redheaded Norseman in Game of Thrones. I'm forgetting his name now.
Oh, Giantsbane.
Yeah. Because really, all that character needs is a big, kind of a big body and kind
he's
of.
He's all prosthetics.
Voice. Yeah, he's covered in crocodile makeup, so it almost doesn't matter. And you got Amanda Waller, who was played by Viola Davis originally, and she was actually really, really good in this. But because we're switching up, I said let's do Sandra.
Alfre Woodard. Sandra. Oh, ooh. Switch it up, huh?
She was good in that, Viola Davis.
Yeah, she was.
She was solid.
But she's good in everything. Viola Davis.
Yeah,
that's fair. Awesome.
So then we come to the Joker.
Oh, here we go. Forgot about him. So let's see. Someone older. Heath Ledger.
Nope. Hey, you were the one that said we couldn't.
His performance would be a little stiff right now.
Yeah, but he's like, but God damn it, he could pull it off. I'm thinking about doing like a Weekend at Bernie's kind
Still
of thing.
Still be better than Leto.
He probably would be.
So, see, someone like I want to try to think. Who would you cast as Joker based off what you casted so far? Owen Wilson.
He'd be opposite of Kate Beckinsale. Opposite Kate Beckinsale. Keep that in mind.
Wow.
Opposite Kate Beckinsale.
Because they're the whole thing.
Nicolas Cage.
actually, that's actually probably better than who I cast.
Oh shit! Who'd you cast?
I don't know why I kind of went out there. No, Christopher Maloney.
Oh, I like Christopher Maloney a lot, and I could that would.
After watching Happy, I mean, it's kind of out there, but if you think about him a little bit,
it depends on what version of the Joker he's doing.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
Him, I just rewatched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, and he plays the farmer dude with the face warts and everything.
I thought it was Jamie Kennedy.
No, it's Christopher Maloney. Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, it's so funny, and he's a good casting. I don't know for Joker though. That one. That's
it
tough.
Would be interesting. He's a good enough actor though that like if he's playing a not necessarily over the top but still crazy Joker.
Yeah.
Like a little more.
I'd have to. Yeah, I just have to fucking be forced to watch it to really.
Yeah.
You know. I almost put him in as a Batman option. He was one I was thinking, but he didn't make the cut.
See, I don't think you can pull off the Bruce Wayne side of it. I buy him as Batman, just not as Bruce Wayne.
No. All right, do you have anybody else?
We got two more.
Jesus Christ!
No.
This fucking
so you got Rick Flag, who
of course you do,
right? Yeah. And June, the Enchantress, who is kind of like the little love story and the whole thing. And with that one, I just said fucking it went with Zac Efron and Ellen Page.
There's a couple.
Efron and Ellen Page. Talk about chemistry.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do Jason Bateman and Ellen Page and have the reunion from Juno? They already have the chemistry going, and he fits your demo.
Yeah.
He's all picking Jason Bateman and Rebel Wilson. It's like, Jesus Christ. All right, well.
That was Suicide Squad.
That is a Suicide Squad. I think they're all going to do that too.
Yep.
All right, Kevin, do you want me to go? And
Okay.
Because you have the bigger cast, I think.
I do have the bigger cast, probably.
So I'll just kind of rattle through mine.
Okay.
I went with I had to recast Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane are the ones that I chose to recast. Didn't care about Perry White and all those in this one. And then I did recast, or I picked a different director. So no story or anything. So I'll say one thing about these DCEU movies, for the most part for me, is I generally don't disagree with their casting in the first place. So it made it hard for me to see other people in the roles, because I was like, I like them. Like, I know you really didn't like Ben Affleck, and he is forgivable for me, but I thought he did okay. I've definitely seen worse.
Well,
so
and most of the time he's in the costume,
yeah.
So I mean,
yeah,
could be almost anybody.
But I liked their depiction of Batman in it. It was interesting. That wasn't a bad thing for me. So anyway, Superman. I was trying to consider how I'm basically thinking I'm just putting these people in this movie. I'm not changing the story or anything. I'm just basically it's the same story, but I'm just recasting that. So I was thinking like the setting would be a little similar. So I couldn't decide between Sebastian Stan and Richard Madden. So obviously Winter Soldier or
Rob Stark.
Rob Stark.
I could see Sebastian rocking a pretty.
I'd rather see Sebastian
Superman.
I think just because he's bigger.
I mean, no one can replace Cavill, but if you're going to do it, you might as well do it with Bucky. So
that's what I was trying to think of, like the size and someone who hasn't been it or something typical.
He's got the look too, like he's got like the chin and like the darker hair and lighter eyes.
Richard Madden definitely looks like a younger Henry Cavill in some aspects. So, but that was hard. I mean, most of these were Batman. I think was a little easier for me. Wonder Woman was pretty hard. Luthor wasn't that hard, and then Lois. So next one up, Batman. I was also sticking with, they're kind of looking at the older Batman. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna recast somebody who's in an older kind of setting. So I was between Josh Brolin and Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh.
The only problem is the same thing you have with Rob Stark, is Jeffrey Dean Morgan is skinny right now. He's not big enough. Like if you look at how big Affleck was, versus how big.
Obviously,
he's got the costume, but
they'd bulk him up. But both of those are good choices.
But I do love Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, so Josh Brolin, I just think might be a little too old.
I feel like he could pull off the mannerisms a little bit better though than Jeffrey Dean.
It would definitely be definitely a certain stylistic portrayal of Batman. That's for sure.
Right.
When you said you were going a little older, I was like, here it comes, Michael Caine. Here we go.
yeah. Back in the Batman movies, but not as the original character.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one too. I should have recast Alfred. I didn't think about Alfred, because that was one I was thinking about.
They already stole
Freeman.
They already stole Scar from him. Just let him be.
Just let him be. Yeah, just let him do his thing. All right. Wonder Woman. I remember at the time when Godot was cast, it was, some people weren't happy about it, or I didn't know anything about her, but I don't remember anybody else that was up for it at the time, and so I was trying to remember who else possibly could have portrayed that, because I was thinking taller actresses. Obviously they went with a certain style, so trying to mirror that if I could, but I couldn't really find anybody that. Honestly, I like what she does with the role. I think it's a good casting, so it's hard to recast that. But I picked someone I know Alex is going to like, Alexandra Daddario.
I do like that
as Wonder Woman. So, I mean, I like her in things I've seen her in. I just don't know if I'd be interested to see how she does with, that role.
She would be, I think, maybe a little bit more faithful to like the comic book version of Wonder Woman. Just because a lot of people, people are dumb, and Gal does a really great job. I think she's one of the strongest in the DCEU, but a lot of the complaints about her is like, Wonder Woman has blue eyes, Wonder Woman's boobs are bigger, Wonder Woman this, Wonder Woman that. And Alexandra kind of like checks off all those boxes.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah. So, yeah. And when you see Wonder Woman in like a lot of the animated movies, she does have like the lighter eyes, and they don't have that accent that they all have in the movies. So she would be
Linda
closer
Carter
to that.
was, brunette with blue eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Gal's tricky too. She's a lot skinnier than I would expect Wonder Woman to be.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, Wonder Woman, she's an Amazon. She's a big girl.
Oh yeah.
But I struggled with the same things. Like I didn't necessarily find somebody that was physically.
If I'm being honest, I know you don't like her, but from like a face and physique perspective, Gina Carano would actually look a lot like
her. She was the one I wanted when they were casting in the first place.
I don't like her acting. I don't think it's there.
Well, no, it's not good at all. I'm just talking about physically.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. But I did see her name, and I was trying to go through and remind myself. But no, sorry, she's not getting a call back. All right, so Lex Luthor, I first put anybody. So I really just dislike the way they portrayed Luthor in this. So anyway, so I think that would be the only thing I would do. I would abandon the whole startup vibe of Luthor as far as just Silicon Valley type of guy, and put someone in that's a little more older, a little more sophisticated. And again, I had two different options, and one was Jason Isaacs, and the other one was Michael Fassbender.
Ooh, Fassy, yeah.
So
that's very interesting. That you
I kind of waffled a little bit on what's his face? Shit, I just lost his name. Well, I'll come back to it.
You actually made me just think of something else talking about Fassbender for Wonder Woman.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that.
No. Because you mentioned him, he would do that. First of all,
he would,
and he'd kill it.
Yeah, he would.
But his wife, Alicia Vikander, would make a pretty good Wonder Woman. She's Tomb Raider Ex Machina, like that actress.
She's a little short though, isn't she?
She's small. She's a little petite, but she's fucking ripped in Tomb Raider, dude. Like
she's great. I was disappointed that Tomb Raider didn't get a little more love.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
For a video game movie, which is
it was a movie that looked exactly like the video game.
Yeah, but she's a little small. You're right, but otherwise, I think she'd do pretty good.
All right. But yeah, so like Jason Isaacs, I think he shaved his head. He could look. I think he could be very smart and also I was kind of looking at he always seems to have very witty, very I see what Eisenberg was trying to do in terms of his sense of humor, but was just coming off. I just felt this wasn't coming off believable to me. So, but yeah. Michael Fassbender, another one. Would definitely look the part.
Fassbender would be good.
Yeah.
All
right, and then moving on to Lois Lane. I was kind of trying to remember what she looked like in like the comics and stuff, because the only other real one I have is always Margot Kidder from
She's
Superman.
a black-haired fox in the comic books.
Yeah, she looks like Wonder Woman, blue eyes and black hair.
Yeah, very
like
similar.
That's Oh.
DC really have the spectrum of women pegged. I for that one, I is the only person I stole from the MCU.
Oh.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay.
The Scarlet Witch.
I could see it.
So because it seemed they were making Lois a little, she's a reporter, but she's kind of tough in a way. She's not afraid to
Yeah, she should always be tough. She should also always be smart and sassy. Like that's That's why what's her name sucked in the Brandon Routh one.
Kate Bosworth.
Yeah,
I was not happy with that one either. Yeah, I thought about Scarlett Johansson, but no, and then also like Natalie Portman, I thought she was a little too small.
Mm-hmm.
She just also cast Alexandra Daddario as Lois Lane and Wonder Woman
in both parts.
Yeah, when she's Lois Lane, she'll just wear glasses. You'll never recognize me.
Fool everybody.
And her hair in a bun.
There you go.
That's hilarious. It's just she's all that and superhero all together.
There you go. Rachel Lee Cook can be your Lois Lane.
And Clark legit doesn't even know that's her.
X-ray vision.
Wow, it really works.
Fucking figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. She's able to sneak out, and he's cool because basically it'd be like the Incredibles. There's an emergency. They both are just split to go, do the same thing and come back. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I guess that's been done, so it's probably good they didn't go that route. All right, and so finally, my director. So I was trying to, for all the destruction that happens in the MCU, god damn, the destruction that happens in these movies. It's like, how is Gotham or Metropolis going to rebuild in the time frame that they fucking lay out in the movie? It's like not like a year and a half later. I'm like, yeah, nothing's going to be fucking built after what we just saw.
Well, nothing really was. It was all like repaved over. There was just a big empty space with like a new park with that Superman statue in it.
Yeah, but still, it's just like how many? Oh, I don't know. That the timeline didn't match up for me. I was like, that's a little convenient. So yeah, but did I say my director yet? No, I haven't. The director would be Ridley Scott.
Oh.
So I think he put the action in there. I know you thought I'd probably say Michael Bay, but
that's what I was going to say just to troll you. But
yeah. So Ridley Scott, I actually looked up Ridley Scott and Tony Scott to remind myself which ones were the ones, obviously. And also Tony Scott's dead, but as far as the director style. So, but yeah, that's my Batman versus Superman remake.
Excellent.
Who is your Superman?
Sebastian Stan or Richard Madden.
Right.
I think Sebastian. All right. I think he wins.
Yeah, I like that.
I think he wins.
All right. So.
Oh wait! I'm sorry. He's also MCU, and so is Josh Brolin.
That's true.
You stole everybody.
You're like, wait, never mind. Everybody's from the MCU.
This is the one person I took, and this person, and that person, and this person, and that person.
How is Jason Isaacs not in the MCU? That's actually a good question.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So, starting off at the top with the Justice League.
Which movie did you have?
With the Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League. So we're gonna hear a lot of the same characters.
Yeah, many of the same characters. So Superman, I went for somebody that I thought could carry off the personality of a big superhero and leader, and I actually went with Michael Fassbender as Superman.
Oh.
It would definitely be a different look than most of the regulars. Like he'd have to wear a wig or something, or dye his hair a little bit or something. But charisma-wise, I think he'd pull off the character pretty well.
Definitely a little thinner.
Sure,
put on a little weight.
But he's been bigger too. Like he obviously would. Nobody's going to be as big as Cavill. Cavill is insane. But I just I think Fassbender brings a certain like kind of gravitas to the character that you would want.
He's pretty big in Assassin's Creed.
What's that?
He's pretty big in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, there was a period of time where he was bigger than he is now.
But you're gonna have a hard time having him be Superman while he's being Lex Luthor for me. Conflict of interest.
I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they got it.
You know who else actually I thought of was Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay, for a soup piece.
Yeah, I just curious what he looked like with black hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same kind of issue that you run into Fassbender is just the hair and stuff. Like they have a very
but Skarsgård at least is like he's big.
He's massive.
He's a big guy.
He's a big fucking dude.
He's like 6'9". He's fucking ridiculous.
6'9", 492 pounds. The
Yeah.
dude's a fucking tree.
That's a good point. Let me cross him out as Lex Luthor. Hold on. All right.
Go by second. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Obviously. Chill.
Oh, fuck. So then Batman.
Nice to see you.
Batman.
So much joy recasting Batman.
Alex is tired and he's just had his chocolate milk. Let's go. Wrap it up.
Just gonna fall asleep on the wall.
I definitely went different here. Definitely a little younger than Fassbender, but with Batman, I wanted somebody that kind of had that the look to him, under the mask, and somebody with a solid face. And I went with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure that the voice is necessarily quite there for Batman. Like they'd have to do something.
Well, they do the modulation in these movies.
Yeah. But I think physically he's actually pretty big right now, and I think he would do a good Bruce Wayne, Batman kind of dichotomy, going back and forth between the two.
He could definitely do, like, in Batman mode, he could do like the crazy eyes interrogation Batman really good, because he's got that look for sure.
Yeah. And then I'm with Opie. The hard one for me was Wonder Woman. I did a lot of looking around. She is like she's too slim. Like I really didn't want somebody that slim, and I think I pretty much failed. The girl that I cast is not.
She's actually anorexic.
Yeah. She's.
I went with Fiona Apple.
Kate Moss.
Yeah. I'm bringing Calista Flockhart out of retirement.
Oh no.
I went with Eiza Gonzalez. She was in Baby Driver. I think she's in one of the Fast and Furious movies, but she's tall. She's like 5'8". She's
towering.
She's Hispanic, and which would actually be pretty accurate for the role considering they're Amazonians. But she's super pretty, and she's done some action stuff, so she's got that under her belt, and that for me is something that's kind of important for Wonder Woman too. I know you can use stunt doubles and all that shit, but I want somebody that has a history of fighting and kind of kicking some ass. So
well, to that point, I think we're really missing an opportunity of casting Linda Hamilton in that. Now, at least she could probably do Harley
Granny
Quinn.
Goodness.
She could do
Harley Quinn in mine.
In Pete's production, she could.
Yeah, exactly.
Quinn.
You know who I just. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, you brought up Eiza Gonzalez, and I looked at who she was in Baby Driver, and it actually made me think. When I pulled up a picture to see who she was, it also made me think old Batman John Hamm would be really good for that.
He's there. They've talked about him as Superman.
Yeah, they talk about
too.
him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a hard time seeing his face like that.
Yeah.
You know who I just thought of because you kind of reminded me of it for Wonder Woman again is Sophia Boutella. She is a few things, but the first Kingsman, she's Gazelle, the one with like the cyber legs, like the metal legs. She's also in The Mummy with Tom Cruise, even though I'm sure nobody saw that. But she has like really strong features, and she's got like the dark hair, and she's an actual trained dancer. Like she did all of her own stunts in Kingsman. Like she's fucking badass.
Yeah,
like she'd actually be a really good choice. I should have taken a Wonder Woman movie.
But you got Shazam. For the Flash, I went with Ryan Gosling. It would it would be older. Yeah, a little older, but you can do that. I mean, you can use Jay Garrick as the Flash instead if you wanted, and go with an older Flash, because the Flash they used in the movie they used
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, who's super young. But which Flash did he play?
Was
he Bart Allen? He was
Barry
Barry
Allen.
Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, the Flash is you can just redo because there's like 6 Flashes.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Ryan Gosling's got some charm to him, and he could be like a subtle, like, charming Flash character without being as over the top as Ezra Miller was. Well, I actually thought Ezra Miller was one of the better parts of the Justice League movie. And they were, I think they still are developing a Flash movie with him.
I hope so.
And and I don't hate that idea. I liked him in the part, but that's kind of why I went really different. If I'm recasting, I don't want to try and get somebody that's the exact same thing. So for Aquaman, I definitely went more comic.
Blonde.
Comic
Tell
book
me he has
accurate.
blonde hair. Tell me he has blonde hair.
Tom Hardy as Aquaman.
He has blondish hair.
With bleached hair.
He
and
doesn't have to be
blue
bleached.
eyes.
I mean, yeah.
It looks like the sea he's swimming
Because,
in.
well, and in the comics, like, Arthur Curry is usually a grumpy motherfucker. Like, he's not, like, super...
It's because no one gives a shit about him.
Yeah.
Is he grumpy because he's Aquaman?
Yeah. They're like, guys, we're at a war. He's like, sweet, I got dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's on land this time, bud. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I got sea turtles.
Can you call to seagulls? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Then we're good.
Yeah,
Let us know if you see a sub. Otherwise, screw off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got hella pelicans flying in.
Stop getting caught in our nets.
And then for Cyborg, I chose Michael Ealy. I think that's how you say his name. He's he's on Stumptown. He's been in some other stuff too, but definitely not as big as the guy that they played in cast in Cyborg. But I figure Cyborg, because he is a cyborg and most of his body is
it's all CG.
not, you can
that's something where I saw in my movie where they go through the files and you're seeing basically all the Justice League characters. I'm all damn foreshadow much.
Yeah, they hit you right on the head with that shit.
Yeah, like, oh gee, I wonder what's coming.
Then before I get to the villains, I'll go through the side characters a little quick. But the Lois Lane, she's got an appearance in there, so I cast as Lois Lane Charlize Theron. And I found I had to look at pictures of her with black hair, but yeah, she looks great always. So, but she's good at playing smart. She's good at having attitude. Like,
she's good at playing smart.
No, not. She's good at pretending to be smart. She seems really. She makes words.
Yeah, she says the words as if she understands them. It's amazing. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, never seen anything like it.
I don't know where she went to school, but man, worth every penny.
For Mira, I cast Carrie Russell.
Mira, which one was Mira?
Is she Aquaman's wife?
Oh.
I mean, I could have cast Michelle Williams just to have the chemistry with Tom Hardy, but...
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
For Martha Kent, I cast Emma Thompson. I have to see if she'd get rid of the accent, but...
Yeah, that's good.
But I like her. And then for Queen Hippolyta, I cast Demi Moore.
Queen Hippolyta?
Yeah. I still wanted somebody that...
Hippolyta.
It's Hippolyta. That's what I was thinking.
Whatever.
Oh, Hippolyta?
This is America, not Greece.
Hippolyta, dumbass.
Duh.
So embarrassing.
Fucking nerds. But yeah, I cast Demi Moore for that one. She's
Solid.
got a history of
That's a great choice.
Of kicking ass. So then
especially since like maybe 20 years ago, she actually would have made a badass Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moore?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. G.I. Jane aged Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Oh,
would have been
Demi Moore.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been.
I don't remember the character in the movie.
She's the queen. She's got the gold armor. She's not really a huge part in this one.
Yeah, it would basically be like a fan service casting almost. She doesn't.
Yeah.
In Justice League, she doesn't have much going on. In Wonder Woman, she's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They steal the cube from their island, the Mascara, and she rides with all of her troops into battle, and then they get their ass kicked, and then you never see her again.
Yeah.
I should rewatch that movie.
Wait for the cut. Wait for the cut.
Wait, Justice League? Yeah. Oh, so I'm not running out to watch that one. I remember that one. The parts I don't like.
Yeah, so the primary villain in Justice League was Steppenwolf. Even though it should have been Darkseid and apparently will be, or Darkseid, and will be.
Obviously.
But for Steppenwolf, I didn't really like what they did with him in the movie, anyways. And I was looking through the pictures of him in the comics, and I actually thought Carl Urban would make a nice Steppenwolf. He can do the goatee thing and look.
Yeah, he just looks like a man in the comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you look like in this?
Like a ninja fucking turtle.
Sort of.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
he was kind of stupid looking. And then since
Jesus Christ.
Darkseid would probably be along the lines of Thanos, like CGI or something like that. I really wanted somebody whose voice was.
What do you mean CGI
badass.
like Thanos?
That wasn't real?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they cast a purple dude.
Brolin put on that weight, bro.
I thought Grimace from McDonald's had his comeback.
Got jacked.
He's method.
So I went Dennis Haysbert for the voice of Darkseid, the Allstate guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to give you a big nasty voice off. You can, like, if you heard that dude talking, you'd be like, "Oh fuck."
You're talking about the Safe Driver Stay 40% guy.
Right.
That guy, yeah.
Please
Safe
reiterate
Driver
that commercial.
Commercials are oh god.
Stupid. I like
Safe
him.
Driver Stay 40%.
Right.
That's Safe Driver Stay 40%.
And then at the end of the movie, Alex and I were talking this. Lex Luthor and Slade Wilson show up at the very end. For Slade Wilson, I went ahead and cast Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Who's Slade Wilson?
He is Deathstroke, the Terminator. He's a badass. Like,
he's like a hitman assassin type.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, he's almost like a supercharged what if Batman didn't have any morals kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's the badass of badasses. And then for Lex Luthor, I really wanted to go with somebody that personality-wise was more like the comic books Lex Luthor, who's really, really intelligent, really well-spoken. In the comics, he's been the president. And I went with Jeffrey Wright, which would be obviously visually a different take on Lex Luthor. But as far as personality and demeanor and things like that, I think he'd actually be really good. And
would it be as Barbosa?
That's Jeffrey Rush.
Oh, Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright from Westworld. From Westworld.
Peoples Hernandez in the remake of Shaft.
That cleared it up. He's what's his name? Bernard from Westworld.
Oh.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
it'd be a different take for sure.
He has a really cool, calm, kind of calculated demeanor.
Yeah, and that's what I think of when I watch or when I think about Lex Luthor in the comic books, is somebody that's always like a step ahead of the game, somebody that's always thinking ahead, always articulate. So I wanted to go with somebody that just came off really smart.
Yeah, man. Anything's better than Eisenberg on that one, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it.
Yeah, it was rough.
I don't know what they're thinking. Like, that was one. Is this like a version of Luthor in the comics that I've never seen, or are they just kind of swinging for it?
I really don't think he's ever been like that.
Alexander Luthor, the younger Alexander Luthor, has been closer to it. A little more attitude and a little more, or I guess a little less stable than Lex Luthor. But
so is Alexander supposed to be Lex Luthor's son?
Sort of, like they tried to play it off like he was a son, but he was a clone.
It's like a Django Boba Fett type situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Oh, and then my director,
Michael Bay.
No, I was trying to figure out like what kind of tone that I wanted for the movie.
Coen Brothers.
And so I thought about Rian Johnson.
I thought about him too.
Yeah, and then the other one.
I remember what he did to the fucking Star Wars, and I said, "Fuck him."
You mean made the best one in the new trilogy?
That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. Is like that movie wasn't bad. It just didn't work well with the other two. It was not planned well. The movie itself was, in my opinion, very good.
We're not going down this rabbit hole. We're in the home stretch.
But the other director.
I get like a sudden burst of energy. Wait a second.
Yeah. What?
I thought it would be interesting to see if the Coen brothers did a superhero movie. See what their take would be.
I just made that joke like 2
You
minutes
did make
ago.
that joke, yeah.
That actually it would be, oh Batman, where art thou? It'd be fucking strange and.
I don't think it would be that silly, but it would be interesting. They would definitely bring humor to it that obviously Zack Snyder did not.
Yeah.
Well, what we'd have to do next time
The
is pick certain directors that have a tendency to use the same actors in their films.
Like Tarantino.
I was just saying.
Yeah, Scorsese, Wes Anderson. And then we have to cast the movie with some of those reoccurring or anybody that they've had in their movies before.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we should try that.
Oh yeah, like Apatow's whole little crew.
Yeah, but that you're kind of in a genre. So you're like shit.
Like
no,
cast Avengers with the Apatow crew.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
cast Star Wars with Scorsese's people.
Wes Anderson.
With Kevin Smith.
Wes Anderson does the Avengers.
Oh my God. Michael Bay does anything.
I'd rather he didn't.
I mean, to be fair, at least he doesn't use the same people in his movies.
It was Megan
Michael
Fox
Bay
until he.
Well, no, I mean, think about like Bad Boys is different than The Island is different than Transformers. Is like within a franchise, obviously, you get the same characters.
Yeah. He really put a black mark on a lot of people's careers that way. He really
He's
spread
like, I'm
it around.
trying to get as many as possible.
Yeah, I want everyone to be ashamed of at least one project. Why not it be mine?
That would still work though, because if you took like you could take recast Star Wars with only people who have appeared in Shyamalan's films.
Yeah, that's what
Shyamalan uses a lot of the same people too. That's
Shyamalan doing a Star Wars. Oh man.
Hey, the Darth Vader twist would be amazing.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it till the end of the 9th film. Yeah, let him have a crack at the prequels.
There you go.
Anybody can do better at this point. We can make them better.
That should be like a college project. Everyone coming into this particular college for art. It's like, all right, you guys are going to remake the prequels. That's your project.
I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if you have, Pete. If anyone here has, you have. But apparently, the last season of Clone Wars bleeds into episode 3.
That's what I heard. I haven't watched
fixes a lot of the garbage that episode 3 kind of had in it, because they actually they redo some scenes and stuff like that, and I'm like, I really want to see that.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
It's supposed to explain a lot of what Order 66 and all that stuff
actually was about, and
I really
you saw it.
I haven't seen it. I just read about it.
No, yeah, exactly.
I need to watch through it because I've seen all the rest of it. I just need to watch that last season. Well,
cool.
All
right
then. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you, I guess, if you're watching, if this is actually posted. We will likely be back next week. Who knows what we'll be talking about, but hope everyone stays safe, stays healthy. And talk to you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.